I'm Greg Jarboe, and on behalf of Search Engine Strategies New York, we're back interviewing Nick Carr, the author of The Big Switch and the keynote speaker at SES New York. Welcome back, Nick.
Thanks, Greg.
So I have some perplexing questions for you left.
Not too perplexing, I hope.
Well, I listened to your keynote speech at SES London, and you left important pieces out. I know there are things in your book that you didn't have time to address, particularly about the future. So, first of all, let's talk about those.
Okay.
What got left on the cutting room floor?
Well, in my book, I look ahead to how, and this gets a little bit into the world of artificial intelligence and the kind of things that Google is really, I think, concentrating on as it builds more intelligence into its search engine. And I look at the way that the web is becoming increasingly a repository for human intelligence that we leave behind when we form links or when we go from page to page. And Google is very good at mining this intelligence, and I think other companies are going to become very, very good at mining it as well. And in the book, I kind of end with a vision of a blurring of what it means to be human versus what it means to rely on this machine for more and more for our memory, for the way we navigate information. The things that used to go on inside our head are moving onto the internet more and more.
So are we going to hear a hint of this in your keynote speech in New York? Are you changing your presentations?
I'm going to, I think I'm going to get in a little bit more into the social implications than I did in London. And because the people who in the audience are really playing a role in forging this kind of new social dynamic that we're building that involves not only how we build communities and how we get information, but really more and more how we think.
I'm a history major, so I really love your analogies to Edison in the early days. What other lessons can we learn about the advent of electricity, for example, and its impact on society?
An interesting thing about electricity, and I think about all technologies, and this is one of the most important points in the book, is that there are enormous unintended consequences all the time. And so whenever you have a new technology, whether it's electricity or network computing come along, there's all sorts of optimism, even utopian dreams about how it's going to solve all our problems, and I think we've seen that recently. But with electricity, what we saw was that the effects were very nuanced and very unpredictable. And for instance, there was this promise that electric appliances would free up women for this life of leisure. As it turned out, that women actually didn't change the amount of time that they had to devote to housework during the first half of the last century. It's just that more and more of it came to running machines, running vacuum cleaners and dishwashers and other electric machines.
Wow. If I told my wife that she had a life of leisure because of electricity, I think I'd be doing the dishes tonight.
Well, there was Thomas Edison had this article in 1918 or something in Ladies' Home Journal, I think, called The Future of Women. And it drew this picture of women being, the executive of the house where everything's automated and all the machines are doing everything, and the woman could, go out and have a life of leisure.
Let's put it this way. If that's not the future, it is the past. I guess we're just going to have to come to Search Engine Strategies New York and find out what the sequel is. But thank you, Nick Carr, again, author of The Big Switch, keynote speaker at the Search Engine Strategies New York in March. Thank you.